All right, welcome back once again to, I don't know what we want to call this. It's behind the scenes, but it's kind of like between the scenes in a sense. So just got out here last week, did another small batch of Sawmill videos, shot 4 of those last week, 3 of my own logs and then 1 guest log. So I have 3 logs with the slabs to stack up here, and we have a lot of other random things to kind of, still get through. I just went ahead and made a few stickers for this because at this point I still have all of Matt Rubin's stuff in the barn, and all the stickers that I had already planed are behind all of his stuff. This was more accessible to just grab this palette, run some more stickers to the planer, and go from there. So we've got this big guy here to sticker and stack. This was a big one. I think the videos that we shot for last week, those will probably be held off to be released sometime in the winter. Kind of like I used to. I used to shoot a bunch of videos in the fall, and I had some stuff to release for the winter when I didn't feel like being out here running the sawmill. So this stuff probably won't be up for a while, and then I'm not going to bother cleaning up and moving the bed because I have a few more sawmill things to do in the next couple weeks, and then we have another small batch already planned to be done in October as well. So that's gonna stay there. Anyway, I'm gonna get this stacked first. Is big. All right, there's that one. On to the next thing. All right, so there is the second log, first log. I still have just that one over there to sticker and stack. But out of all the stickers that I made this morning, that's literally all that's left. So I could either go dig out some more in the barn and keep stacking, or I could get rid of some more of this palette. And I'm kind of leaning towards getting rid of more of this palette, so I can get rid of this palette, and then I won't have to worry about machining more stickers in the future until I need more, I guess. So I'm gonna go ahead and run through and make several hundred more stickers. I've already shown that, so cut to a done pile of stickers. All right, this should last me for a while. By a while, I mean like 3 logs worth. But it's the next day. This is kind of as far as I got yesterday. and we're gonna change gears real quick. So remember from the last one of these, my buddy Matt was moving shops, and he was between shops, I guess. It's been 2.5 weeks. He's got a new shop space. Got it all, well, he's starting to get it all set up. So he's ready to start moving his stuff over. So I've been storing his stuff here for 2.5 weeks, and it kind of worked out pretty well, I think. So in here, basically everything up the middle of the barn, and I guess that stuff, all of this is his and is going to be moving today. So that's what I'm doing today, I guess, is getting all this wood and machinery and equipment all the way back to here and forward out onto our trailers and then moved over to his new place. So he's going to be here in about a half hour or so. So I'm going to get started, get some stuff staged, and at the very least, hopefully get to loading my trailer and my truck. All right, we go with the first load. Matt already left with basically just a flattener and a few smaller stacks. This is Mike Anderson, who's here helping today. He's got a few pallets of wood, and then I have the same exact load as my last one, jointer planer tables. Okay, this is the last load, so I got all the wet stuff, and then Mike's got a load of whatever's over there, and Matt's already unloaded, so we're done. Completely moved once this gets unloaded. And with all that moved out of here, I guess I can get back to my cleaning and organizing side project thing out here. Well, we'll do it tomorrow. I remember I was also doing my little steam flattening thing on these guys, so we can get those taken out and put away. They've been under there for almost 3 weeks now. So anyway, I'll see you in the morning. We'll spend some time out here. Someone's got to clean this floor. And all kinds of other things. All right, happy Wednesday, I think it is. Just having a look at the weather forecast this morning, and it's supposed to be pretty rainy for the next week or so. So I think instead of working inside the barn today, I'm going to finish up some of the outdoor stuff before it starts to get all wet and gross out here. Okay, so real quick, I want to try and get the log pile a little bit more organized, or at least get it set up so I can move a bunch of the logs that are staged up by the barn down to here where they should be. So I just pulled some I don't know, what are these, like 6x8s? I don't know, out of the back of the property, so I can have a little bit more of a permanent raised area. I was previously doing that with like a little piece of dunnage like this just to keep the logs off the ground, but that's not quite enough. So I'm gonna lay down some of those, and then I can start moving some logs over here. So I'm going to try and at least pre-sort these a little bit, and leave the ones that I'm planning on cutting still this year towards the front of the pile or in a different pile. This first couple here are white oak. So the homeowners had the tree removed because they're building a home or house, and they maybe want something made from their logs. So this is maybe something that'll be a commission someday, but at least for now it's not something that's going to get decided probably this year. So these can go in the back. This chunk of ash up here, that was going to be a follow-up to the quarter sawing video, and I don't think it's going to happen this year because that video is not even out yet. So as I record this one, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but in reality you've seen that video already before seeing this one. Isn't messing with the perception of time just the weirdest thing? Alright, and lastly, I guess for now, there's this piece of spelted maple here, which should really get cut sooner than later, but I don't think I'm going to cut this year anyway. It's been here 4 years already. That's another winter. Oh, good, it's between the forks. Okay, so now I can get this sculpture thing out of here. So this is the elm. Oh, that's where that went. I'm looking for this thing. Where's my shortener? Anyway, this is the big elm removal that we did, or I did a video over, whatever. The removal was back in May, like the last week of May, and then I staged all these sections of tree out here in June, and that took, I think, 3 hours, 2 hours, something like that. It was a long time to get this all staged. And then I took the thumbnail picture, and I didn't shoot the outro because I wanted to see how the edit was going to come together and what the story was going to be like. So I didn't do that until July, and then we didn't finish the video and release it until September. So I didn't want to get these out of here in case they need to reshoot the outro, because setting this whole thing back up again sounds like a lot of work. Because all of these limb things are kind of like a weird shape and weight distribution, I had to chain them all in, or lift them all in on chains. to get them rolled and positioned correctly. That was a lot of work. But they're all, I mean, they're all up on blocks. It's just, I would like them not in the sun, baking away. That is a big piece of wood. This looks a lot bigger today. Somehow. This looks way bigger than it did. Okay. And now it's in the shade. Well, it was supposed to be rain today, but I guess that's not happening. But whatever. I got some more time to finish up a few little things out here. So the area I just cleared over here, I want to put the vacuum kiln over here, so it's a little more out of the way. Matt sold that machine, and the buyer is going to come pick it up in a few weeks. So I figure having it over here is a little more convenient for loading it, and then it won't be in the middle of the field killing the grass. I guess there's that. So if you saw the video I did highlighting Matt Rubin's business a few years ago, you saw us use this vacuum kiln just as a little bit of a demo. Matt's been wanting a bigger one for a long time, and I guess the perfect time to upgrade is when you're moving. So this vacuum kiln got dropped off here on the back of a rollback tow truck at night in the dark, and I dragged it off the back of it, and it's been sitting here for whatever it's been, 3 weeks now. So I kind of want to get it just moved a little bit to a more convenient place, because this is just wherever the tow truck stopped that night. And with it being here and me having the telehandler, it makes it a lot easier for this thing to get out of here, because I can load it onto the buyer's trailer whenever they're ready to take it. I believe they're trying to get some space, set up for it and whatnot. So at least that saves Matt a little bit of moving hassle, or the buyers some moving hassle too, because they don't have to hire a crane or a wrecker to load this thing onto a trailer for them. They can come in here and I got the thing to do that. So anyway, this will also be a good test to see how it feels picking it up. Now, I have no idea where the center mass is on this thing, so hopefully this works. Not too close either. It's definitely towards the front. All right. And in case you're wondering, underneath here, there's no fork pockets, but underneath there are like I-beam standoffs that are, I guess, the legs you'd call them for this thing. And that's what I have marked with that tape measure there, so I don't end up into one of those. That seems to be sitting nicely. Anyway, here are the, I don't know, call them feet or whatever that it sits on. So I guess I got it. It's in the air. I'm going to drive very slowly now. I literally can't see anything. I might have to get out and make sure I didn't put something in the way here. Like, where's my trailer? I think it's over there somewhere. Oh, I'm like going up a giant mound here. Into a hole. All right, there it sits. So it's at least it's out of the dirt now. I got up on some blocks, so it'll be whatever. It's not in the dirt, and this is a lot more level, so it'll be easier to just fork this thing onto the trailer when it's time for it to go. As an aside, the spec sheet on this kiln puts it at 9,000 pounds. I believe it weighs more because I know Matt has his trolley system in there right now. So it's at least 9,500 pounds. And a lot of people ask about the telehandler and how much it can lift. So its maximum rated lift is 9,000 pounds, but that is at this, up to this scope extension at a 24-inch load center. So at this extension, I'm good to have a load center right around there on the forks of 9,000 pounds up into the sky. And that's with whatever safety margin they have on here too. So when you think about how much safety factor they have on this machine to be able to put that much weight up in the sky, and the fact that this is scoped out a bit, they don't give you a rating with it fully retracted, what it can actually get off the ground. But you see me lift my forklift, which weighs over 12,000 pounds, and this thing has absolutely no problem with that. It doesn't even feel light in the back yet, so who knows what I can actually lift. The heaviest thing I've had on there is a 15,000 pound log, and at that weight on those forks, the tilt cylinder, which has a small internal bypass, has a huge internal bypass when there's that much weight on there, and I don't run out of lift, I run out of tip on the forks. All right, I feel good about this. That's better. At least now I don't have this big black box sitting in the middle of my field. All right, I think I'm gonna dig through these and get them put away. Just under there at the other ones. Those are the two that didn't get steamed. That's the one we did about a year ago now. And then these are the ones that I did, I guess it was 3 weeks ago now, something like that. But I just wanna get them put away and stickered basically for the winter, and I'll give them some time to dry out some more. And hopefully the drying will help to set them in their new shape. I can tell you this much though, this is definitely like a two-person job. I could not work fast enough to get these into position and clamped in place. And just using the forklift to, not using the forklift, using the telehandler just to put the weight of the telehandler in the front. That wasn't enough weight, or at least the weight wasn't distributed well enough into the stack, because these are not looking looks as good as the ones that Wink and I did. But I think they look better than they were, so I'll take that, I guess. So here's what the one from a year ago looks like. I mean, that's pretty good compared to how bad it was before, with I think it had 4 inches of twist in it. That is really good. It hasn't really distorted more than it was when it came out of the forms a year ago. So I think this is a viable way of saving wood that's otherwise too twisted to use. And I know I did mention that I was going to show you what the other slab became that Wink took with them when we were doing the steam flattening here. I think that was the last video, but I got kind of sidetracked, as you know. So this is the other slab. This is the sequential slab from this one that Wink turned into a, he wanted like a workbench, work table type of thing that you could put out in like this covered area. I guess we'll call it a carport. So he wanted some kind of outdoor work surface to be able to do stuff in that carport thing. So this is just a basic. It's a really nice looking workbench kind of thing. It's got some dog holes in there. He's also got a leg vise, and he used some big old logs for legs. And in the middle there, you can see a much bigger log that is a stump of walnut that he used to support the middle of the work table to give it a lot more rigidity. And then here's a little shot of the better shot of that with the vise and the walnut thing in there. The vise chop is a piece of ash that he got from me a few trips ago. That is one of the big logs that I first had on my sawmill. It was the second big ash log. So kind of cool to see a lot of history in here from the stuff that I provided him. And it's crazy to think that this kind of drab, boring looking thing has this much color and grain and uniqueness hidden beneath all that, all that kind of gray, gross stuff. So like with this stuff, you really have to like be able to know and envision what the wood is doing underneath all of the whatever, the gray matter. Because there's a lot going on under here, and I can kind of see it, but I think for beginner woodworkers that kind of look at this stuff, looking at rough sawn lumber and being able to tell what the grain in the wood looks like underneath the mess is a skill that comes with time and experience. And that's especially true with all the sawmill videos, because that's the exact reason I started splashing all the slabs with water, to make it really clear and really evident to everyone at home that's not used to looking at rough sawn lumber how much the grain changes once there is some finish on it and once it's actually cleaned up. And to a lesser extent, also for the cameras, because the cameras can perceive the grain and the color a lot easier when it is wet down and not drab or whatever. So anyway, that's my little spiel on this. This guy is available since it's been sitting here and works out just fine. They'll set you back $500. That's how much these big ones are, and then the other ones will be available if they work out, maybe in the spring. Unless you want one sooner and you want to take the risk that it might deviate a little bit after coming home with you. All right, I'm gonna get these put back in here. I think we'll put some thicker pieces between this slab and the next one so I can fork this out of here in case somebody wants it. And then I'll just stack the other ones on top of it. And this little side project will be done. I'm not gonna bother trying to steam the other ones and get the box running again. I think I have enough material out of this log for now. If someone really wants a bunch more, or one of those cuts for some reason, then I'll worry about steaming them and flattening them. Or I'll just cut them into guitar bodies. That's always an option. There's always instrument bodies. Turning blanks or whatever. So these ones definitely not as good as the other one. You definitely need more weight in that second person to get these things in the form faster, but that is really close. And compared to where it was before, I'd say that's good enough, or as good as it's gonna get, I suppose. These are kind of sitting down at an angle right now. It looks like this side's like sagging, but it's just the whole stack is like that. These are cool. These are cool pieces of wood. Now it's flatter. Okay, let's take a look at this guy under here now. So as a little bit of a reminder on this one, this is just a flat form. Back here, these are twisted in the opposite direction of the twist that the slab had. So it's a counter twist, and this is just a simple flat form. The other thing is with these guys, I had a heck of a time trying to get everything out of the steam box because I collapsed the steam box, and then I was trying to get things on here. I didn't even think to put any like dunnage aside to put between my weight and the slab. So I was stacking a bunch of stickers together to try and get them in there. So I get my forks out. It was a mess. So basically these were sitting out of the steam box for way too long, so I'm not really sure how this one's going to look once we get this weight off of here. On this little one too, you can see I didn't even have anything to hold that side down, so I didn't really get much flattening done. But I'm more interested in seeing what that one looks like. I mean, it doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to turn out. This definitely didn't flatten out that much. So it's got a bit of a rise here in the middle, but the twist is gone, which is kind of what I wanted more than anything. I guess the other thing with this one was there wasn't that much weight on it either. So we have a bit of twist still. Maybe 3/4 of an inch of twist down here. It's pretty good over here, so kind of depending on what you end up wanting to do with this, it might be okay, but it's definitely better than it was, that's for sure. That goes to show, like, I suppose, on this one, even if you do everything wrong or don't do it well enough, you can still get it to be a little bit better, at least. But I'm actually surprised it's as good as it is. So those can sit there for probably a couple months, I think. The these beam things on top is a workbench kit blank things. So that'll be a project that I work on probably sometime after the breakfast nook or when I get towards the end of that build. The wood for that is like that slab right there. So there's that. This slab that I pulled off of the flattener that was underneath all of the weight or whatever. This is a slab from the red oak that I cut with my dad over Thanksgiving. I think that was 2018. So that video is like, whatever, sawed a big red oak with my dad or something like that. This is slab number 5. You can find it, it's listed over on the website. It's about 30, what we got, like 33 down here. And it kind of narrows down to 31 kind of up there. So it's a good size for like a bar top or a more intimate dining tabletop or something like that. If you're into something like that, this is the 5th slab out of that log. And then the rest of these slabs this is the rest of that log right there. All right, let's see what else. We got the twisted ones still, I think because they're all twisted and I'm not that worried about them right now. I'm just gonna stick them back here with that stuff to get them out of the way. And we can move on from here. I got my surfacing table back, which is a nice plus. I can flatten things again. Hooray! Flat stuff! We're gonna bounce around a little bit and get this mortiser ready to come in here and get the small one swapped out. So I got a mold base for it, and then while I was ordering stuff, I also got some parts for the lathe that need to be replaced on there. Because while you're at it, I guess. This is the same, I guess, style of mobile base that I have on my jointer. The jointer is like the super heavy duty version of this, whatever that means. This is just a mini one. All right. Guess we got some assembly to do. All the casters are on here. Now, one thing about these or this style of base is that you can configure it however you want. If you want the casters on the outside of the machine, you can orient it that way. If you want the casters to be on the front and back, you can turn it around like this, and you can flip-flop it basically and have the casters to the front or the back, just depending on where you want the casters to end up. If you want the machine to be wider or deeper, whatever. I'm doing casters off the side so I don't have anything sticking out in the front. So when I have this thing parked, I don't have these sticking out into my my aisle space. And then from there, you got your little bars that you can put in here and adjust to whatever width you need and width and depth. Now we see if we can get this on here without dropping it. All right, there it is. I'm pretty excited about this. I've been wanting to make this upgrade for at least 10 years now, and I'm looking forward to actually using this thing. And the biggest reason for this is the table. That's the biggest upgrade here. The head and the mechanism up here is, I've never had a problem with this section. The problem comes in with the table. This is a far less efficient and convenient way to do things, because as you are making all your mortise cuts, you have to move and hold your workpiece in position every single time. I think this is probably one of the better benchtop mortisers because of this fence system. So you do have a nice rack and pinion mechanism to actually set the mortise distance off the fence, which is really nice. And then once you lock that down, you have the rollers, which you can put in here, which will actually help to keep the workpiece up against the fence. But it's not as fun of a process to have to move the workpiece every single time. And that's, contrasted with this thing where you put this into the table, into the clamp or whatever. I forgot. There we go. So you clamp that in place. And now the workpiece never moves. You just move the workpiece through all the cuts using the hand wheels on the table, and you can dial in whatever position you want in and out with this hand wheel. So this is very similar to the rack and pinion on the back of this thing. That mechanism is still kind of the same, but it's a left to right that now as you come down, you make your mortise, you come back up, you turn your hand wheel a little bit, move it to the next position, and come back right back down, and your hand's not here holding on the workpiece and trying to keep it from shifting left to right as you're plunging down. So I guess the short answer is creature comforts. That's really the biggest advantage of the floor standing mortiser. So I got the breakfast nook table thing coming up next. So that's got a lot of larger mortise tenons, larger work pieces. It should be more convenient as well to hold larger work pieces in that thing than in this thing. Okay, over here for the lathe, I got a new fan for the motor. There's the old one. So that's a quick fix, just something I have. Oh, it doesn't even fit. That's great. I love when that happens. Different shaft size. It's the same size. No, that's different. All right, well, I guess I will let them know that their replacement part thing isn't the right replacement part. Never mind. Okay, and the other item that I got is another one of these. It's the spindle lock index pin thing. It's easy to misplace these, so I figured, you know, they were fairly inexpensive, and since I was ordering parts already, I figured I'd have another one so that when I lose another one, I got another one. You know how that goes. So that's it for the lathe for now, I guess. We'll come back to this, like a lot of other projects. And that's where I'm going to end this one. So thank you, as always, for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on whatever we did today, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And until next time, happy woodworking.